I'm not. I'm so sorry. I'm out of the loop on the Oregon Blaster. Who developed that?
Well, it was actually it's an energy, and it was discovered by William Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, him being another one of the heroes that they get rid of, died in jail.
Really?
It took his technology a lot like Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
But what he did was discovered this orgone energy, and it's really an ancient energy. It was the same kind of ingredients in a cheaper way that we make it. That the Ark of the Covenant was made of, and what it does is it's a good energy that repels evil energy. And if it's made right, because of course the pagans can twist it and make it so that it attracts energy rather than repel it.
Yeah.
The orgone, the way the Lord told me to make it, repels evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good energy, and it repels evil, keeps evil away from you.
Sure. So Sherry, do you hear directly from God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How
everybody, some people.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the Bible says, "My sheep hear my voice, and they know me."
Mm-hmm.
They hear His voice.
All right.
I'm not talking about the elf God that speaks to your head and tells you to go drown your children.
Okay, so you then what? You have conversation with him? Does he come to you in visions, or do you just drop something in your mind all of a sudden you know it, or how's that work for you?
No, the Lord speaks to His people. He speaks to their spirits. He has a still small voice that speaks to your spirit.
Okay.
And you can learn to recognize His voice, His still small voice that speaks to your spirit. He doesn't speak to your head. The military has a technology that I call the elf God, and they can speak to people's heads and say that they're God. And these women who have heard it and have drowned their children and everything else, people say they heard God, so they went in and shot up everybody in the McDonald's. This is the elf. This is the military technology that speaks to people's heads.
Yep.
Some people being diagnosed as schizophrenic because they hear these voices from the military technology.
Yep.
The Lord doesn't speak to your head. He speaks to your heart. He speaks to your spirit. It's still a small voice. And so once you learn how to recognize His voice, that's basically one of the tenets of our faith is that we would hear His voice. He says, my sheep hear my voice and they know me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I always like to do that. Ask questions like that because I think it's great that guests come on and say that they hear from God. But I think it's even better if people can learn how to hear from the Creator theirself. And so,
sure. And I have articles on my site teaching me how to pray, teaching people how to pray, what to ask for. Mm-hmm. A lot of people praying amiss. They pray for material things, give their Christmas list every time they pray. Yeah. And when they need to be asking for discernment, for truth, for more things from Him, and even asking Him, teach me how to hear your voice, teach me how to discern when it's you. Simple things like that, getting to know Him. Mm-hmm. Focusing their lives on just what the things of Him and His kingdom, and not things of this earth.
Yeah. If they do what you just said, would they begin to have doubts about the validity of Paul's writings?
Well, I could go into ages on Paul. If it was one of the truths that he led them to right away. I've been praying for truth for years, and he just kind of leads you one thing to the next. And everything just like pieces that fall into a puzzle, and you'll see it as you're learning, as you keep learning. He will reveal deceptions to you. If you're praying for the truth, obviously, He's going to start exposing the deceptions and the lies to you. And so if you're not ready to hear this, you're going to say, oh, no, don't even tell me about Paul. He's not going to.
All right.
He's not going to.
Okay, now
if you already decide, you already know what you know, you're not going to learn anything else, He can't teach you.
Yeah. When the Bible speaks of an end-time deception, what is that in your view?
The end-times deception is going to be part of this intelligent design ideology that's coming out, that mankind was created in test tubes, and that these Anunnaki that are coming are ascended masters of the Aquarian age, and that we can all become gods and become gods like them, and become ascended beings of light. There's many deceptions coming in regards to that, and the fact that these aliens are our forefathers and creators.
Whoa. You don't believe your dad was an alien?
No.
Well, that's a shock. Okay, I figured, you may have thought, I thought my mom was actually, so I didn't know, I mean, she shaped it.
No, but
shaped it quite often.
The Lord said, as in the days of Noah, the last days will be, and so there's going to be a lot of contaminated human blood. Probably 99% of human population already has contaminated blood at this point.
Really? Now, how can you tell? How can you look out in an audience or walking down the street? How can you tell if somebody's a shape-shifting audience or an alien that just may turn around and eat you?
Well, I guess when they do it, you'll know.
Well, you're not going to have much to say about it, sounds like, unless you've got an Oregon Blaster with you.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things you can look for is the soulless, the blank stare, the black eyes that don't reflect light on them at all. They're just dead, cold.
Seen that.
That's one of the biggest death giveaways.
Yeah, hey, I've seen that too, and a lot of times I see that on the nightly news when they show something from Iraq and somebody going la 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 like that, and they got a bomb in their hand, you know. You see these wild, crazy black eyes that you know there is no soul behind there. Am I looking at a shapeshifter, or am I just looking at somebody who's like destined for hell? I mean, what am I looking at there?
Well, if you're looking at it, you're looking at a possessed person, demonically possessed, which is most likely the case, or someone who's, if they're one of the Illuminati families, where they can be possessed by aliens, by reptilian hosts, they have a certain DNA that allows them to be able to do that, so they can shapeshift. And that's why they protect their bloodlines, so they can keep that DNA, so it allows them to do that. Most of the other population, you're going to have hybrid children born that are part of these abductions. These women have been abducted and implanted with fetuses that are alien. They're born half alien, half human.
Yeah.
You've got the star children, the indigo children you're already hearing about.
Right,
They're coming out with them. More and more news about star children.
Yeah.
These are hybrid children. These are half human, half aliens.
So when the Bible speaks about how that God will let the chaff grow up with the wheat, and in the end He'll thrust in His sickle to separate them, are you saying that
you can't tell them apart? Only the angels can.
What percentage of the whole human population do you think is in maybe a saved category, or a God, an actual follower? I mean, that's going to heaven? What percentage do you think that is?
Well, it's 10% of all those who call Him by His name.
Okay, what about the 90% that don't?
10%.
So are you 10% of only those that call Him by His name? So you're already eliminating anyone who calls somebody else, right?
Well, if they're calling somebody else, they're in idolatry.
Okay, so they don't count anyone.
Serious problem. I mean, Allah, you're worshiping the moon god and thinking you're worshiping the son of God. It isn't the same as worshiping God. You know, a lot of people in religion's one of the biggest deceptive things out there. Get out of religion, get away from religion, and just start praying to the Most High God, the one true God, to reveal the truth to you in all things.
Okay.
Once you are seeking truth, you are seeking Him, then He will lead you away from the deceptions and errors that you're in.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people think that the truth is in religions, and that's where all the lies are. That's where the deceptions are.
Yeah.
You just need to get out of that.
No doubt. Sherry Shriner, we've got about 1 minute. If you'd like to talk about your website or anything else, you've got it.
Well, you know, I've got 20 websites now. You can see all the whole list at SherryShriner.com. I also have my radio show Monday nights at SherryTalkRadio.com, 8 o'clock Eastern Time and Central right now, both in the same time zone. And I have 2 books out. They don't have to buy the books. They can read all the information that's in the books right on the website.
Nice.
It's all there in my articles.
Great.
So I have a lot of information from prehistoric, time before Adam and Eve were created, up until last days information. What's happening up to the second coming of the Lord. So a lot of information on my website.
Okay. So that's SherryShriner.com?
Yes.
All right, Sherry, can we have you back on again sometime?
Oh, sure, anytime, Daniel.
All right, thanks for coming on the Edge Radio broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you bet.
Fact or fiction? Discovering the truth together here on the Edge Radio broadcast.